Okay, let's talk about a phrase you've probably heard, I don't know, a million times. Passive income. It just conjures up these images of money rolling in while you're sleeping, right? A life of total ease. But the more I hear it, the more it feels like the term has been stretched so thin that it's almost lost all its meaning. So today, we're going to dig in and figure out what's really going on behind all that hype. I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? You know that feeling you get when you see another ad promising some secret system? It's like the phrase passive income has become this little trigger word designed to make us stop thinking and just buy in. Well, today we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to break it down and really think it through. And right here, this is the heart of the problem. It's the word passive itself. It creates this illusion that money just magically appears out of thin air, like you can flick a switch and walk away forever. But let's be honest with ourselves. When has anything truly valuable ever been built that way? So let's start by tackling the myth head-on. What exactly is this hype machine trying to sell you? So here's the fairy tale, right? The dream they're selling. All you have to do is find the perfect tool, copy-paste from proven strategy, click a button to automate the whole shebang, and then, kick back on a beach while the money just starts flowing in. It sounds amazing, but it's a complete fantasy. Let's just pause for a second and really think about that. Does that sound like the origin story of any business, any creator, or any project that you genuinely admire? Or does it just sound, well, a little too good to be true? Okay, so let's put these two things right next to each other. On one side, you've got the fantasy, and on the other, you have the reality of how these income systems are actually put together. And this is where the fantasy and reality just completely split. The fantasy is all about copying tactics and trying to automate everything from day one. But the reality? Oh, it's so different. It's about getting obsessed with understanding a problem first, and then doing a ton of hands-on babysitting in the beginning to build a system that's strong enough to not need you later. It's a funny paradox, isn't it? This image of an iceberg is just the perfect metaphor for this. That income that eventually feels passive, that's just the tiny tip of the iceberg that everyone sees. The real success, the bulk of it, is all that invisible work you did below the surface. The systems, the strategic decisions, the deep thinking you put in right at the start. So if passive income is kind of a broken way to think about it, what's a better way? I think this next idea is a much more honest and, frankly, a much more powerful framework. Let's call it deferred effort. So what is deferred effort? It's this really simple but game-changing idea. You invest your absolute best work and your sharpest thinking right now so that it can grow and pay you back later. The effort doesn't vanish. You're just time-shifting it. You're doing the hard work once, so you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. So what does this look like in the real world? Well, first you do that deep thinking up front to design the whole system. Then, and this is so important, you make your mistakes early, when the stakes are low, so you can learn and get better. And finally, you build rules into your system so it can start making decisions on its own. That's what frees you up from reacting to every little thing all day long. And just to be crystal clear, this is not about being lazy, it's not about avoiding work. It's about making the work you do count for more. It's about being strategic with your time and energy, so the effort you put in today is still working for you a year from now. Okay, this brings us to another massive misconception. People often think that tools and systems are like a magic wand that can fix a bad idea, but they're not at all. Here is a hugely important thing to remember. A system is just an amplifier. It takes whatever you feed into it, your ideas, your product, your message, and it makes it bigger, faster, and louder. Now, that can be an incredible thing, or it can be a total disaster. Just think about it this way. If your online course has a really confusing first lesson, automating your emails just means you're going to confuse 1,000 people instead of 10. If your software product has a critical bug, a fancy marketing funnel is just going to deliver that buggy software to more unhappy customers faster. See, the system only exposes what's already there. It can't fix it for you. And this leads us to the part of the whole process that you pretty much never see on social media. You always see the glamorous laptop on the beach photos, right? But what's missing? The boring, the unglamorous, the tedious work that actually made it all possible in the first place. This right here, This is where the real leverage is built. It's in the stuff that does not make for a good Instagram story. The endless testing, the quiet, painful recalibration after a launch flops, having the discipline to remove a feature instead of adding a new one, spending an entire afternoon rewriting one single email until it feels just right. That is the work that actually matters. So, if the goal isn't to just do nothing and lie on a beach all day, then what is it? We need to redefine the prize we're actually fighting for here. Let's get real for a second. When you or I say we want passive income, what are we truly chasing? I really don't think it's just about doing nothing. I think it's about something much deeper and way more valuable than that. I think the true goal, the thing we're all really after, is selectivity. It's the freedom to choose where you direct your focus and your energy. It's about finally getting out of that reactive mode where you're just putting out fires all day and getting into a proactive mode where you can focus on the stuff that really moves the needle. So how do you get there? Well, it's all about being intentional. You build systems so that you can afford to be selective. You automate the boring stuff so that you can focus on the big picture. You document your processes so that your brain isn't crammed with a million tiny details. It's all about simplifying so you can actually scale without completely burning out. This is what it actually feels like when a system starts to work. It doesn't mean you're totally checked out. It just means there are fewer emergencies, fewer little manual tasks you have to do, fewer of those wild emotional roller coasters tied to every single daily metric. It feels like control. It feels like calm. I really want to leave you with this final idea because I think it just perfectly reframes everything we've talked about. The goal isn't to stop working. The goal is to build something so robust, so well designed, that it stops needing you every single minute. That is the real prize. And the best part is, that's something you can actually go out and build.